Hello, this is Ada Ray from Bricksbuilder, and today we'll be creating a hero split section. As you can see on the screen, this is what we'll be creating. But what I want to also emphasize is we'll not only be creating a version where it's where the image is touching the right side of the screen, but we'll also be flipping it around, and we'll also be creating a version where the the spacing is being shared. So okay, that was not very clear. What I mean is, let me just do it this way. I think it's really much better. So now it's split, right? So we have like this 50%, and this is also 50%. And what I want to create is a version where the image starts a little bit further up on the screen. So this will be where the image will feel like this part. So it's no more in the middle, but it's a little bit more, taking up a little bit more space on the screen. So that's what we're going to do in this video. I'll try to go a little bit faster. My tutorials are quite long, which is not a bad thing, of course. I'm still actually waiting to get some more feedback on the length of the tutorials. I try to just explain everything thoroughly and not rush through it. So watching my videos might take a while. But anyways, let's just jump into it and see how long this takes. I hope it's shorter than 30 minutes, but we'll see. So we have an empty canvas. Let's start adding our blocks. So this is a split hero section. We need 2 blocks. One is the content, of course, and the other one is where the image will sit, the media. Move the zoom, the loom controls out of the way, and we add our image. So we have our image, our media. We need a heading, a basic text, and a button. Let me just quickly copy over this text. This is a H1, by the way. It's a title. So just add this here. This is a paragraph, and we have our button. As for the button, I can basically already just add the style to it. There we go. I also add small because I don't want it to be that large. So we have small button, and this is really the call to action. Here we go. Let's just add the CSS. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, I'm using the core framework. I also put it up in the title. In the description. So, I'm not using automatic CSS. I'm using the core framework for this. Okay, let's continue. So this will be split hero. Let me just put in the all the styles: container, content, heading, text. Whoops, that didn't go well. Split hero text. Also add split hero CTA or button. Yeah, CTA is good. Media and image, and then we have all our classes added to it. So we have our image, and now we can start doing adding our styling to it. But first things I want to notice is, originally on the core framework you would not have like padding added to it. So the padding that you can see here is added. If we go to theme styles, we can see on where's the section, as you can see, it's not added here. It's added in core framework. So I've just added I added my own classes, my own styling to the section, so that it styles every section I add gets an automatic padding. So if you purchase the alpha template from Bricksbuilder, it will have a core files that you can import, and it has some extra styling to it that just helps you, not always, it takes out the repetitive work, like adding padding to your sections every time you add them, right? So it just speeds up the work a little bit. So we've added our classes, so now we can start styling. So on the container, we'll add a grid. We don't need any gap. We need a 2-column grid, so repeat 2 columns. So 2 min max 0 fr. Okay, so now we have 2 columns, and what we want to do here is first start styling the content. This will just be flex row column, sorry. We'll need a spacing, so I can add something like var space m. Yes, I also have here, as you can see, I have a container gap, I have content gap, and grid gap. These were actually added. This is a useful variables that actually automatic CSS uses. It just helps with having consistency through your designs, because obviously using space, look, let's say all my on every section I had, on every content that's in a section, I was using space M, right? If I suddenly thought, okay, I want to change, instead of space M, I want this to be S, right? I want the gap to be smaller. I would have to go to every instance of where I added the variable space M. Obviously, I can change my space M value, but my space M value has a certain kind of value. I might not. I might have space M other instances, maybe on other elements, blocks, whatever, right? And I don't want that to change. I only want the change to happen on the content, or on the content block that sits within a section, right? So I would need to tokenize this variable, right? And then if you do it, like if it's content gap, I can just change the content gap. So the content gap is now linked to, I think it's the variable space M. So if I can always change that space M value to S, and everywhere I've added content gap, it will change. So that's why I'm using this. It's very handy. You know, we have container gap, content gap, and grid gap. So those are very good additions. I wanted to say one more thing about this, but it has eluded me. It's left. I don't know what I'm going to say. So I will just continue. So I'm just going back to M, and we need to add an image. Set an image. You want it's something good. Should not even matter. Do this one, and let's add a tag, a figure tag. Set the object fit to cover, and you might want to add a specific aspect ratio. But we'll see. Maybe it's not needed. Okay, on the content here, sorry, on the container, I want my items to center, right? So that it sits in the middle. And on my section, I want to remove the padding top and the padding bottom. What else do I want to do? I'm just thinking now. Yes, okay. So that is set, and now I want to I'll set my media block. We need to give it a height, because actually, it's actually just because we've moved the top and the bottom border. It's actually the height of your section is actually the height of its content, right? But now maybe you want your hero section to have a specific height. So you can either, there are different ways to add your height. You can do it on the section level. You can even use the container to do it, but I'm doing it on the media. Is there a specific reason why? Not necessarily. But this is the way I have set it up. So I do 100 VH, right? So 100 VH is kind of much. Depends on whatever you might want. So it might be 70 VH. And then my image, I would give it a height of 100% and also the width 100%. Whoops. So that it just fills that space. Okay, so now we want our image to stretch to the right side of the corner. Now there are different ways of doing this. You can use grid zones to do this, right? You create zones on, so actually my section, I would turn my section into a grid, create grid zones to determine where my content sits. But there's just, setting that up might be quite some work involved in it, especially if you are, creating, if you're just want to create something simple. You don't necessarily need to use the grid zones. This is very easy to do because the way to set this up is actually to set your max width to 50 viewport width and your width also to 50 viewport width, which will stretch, which will break your image out of the media block. As you can see, the media block is right here. If I just take my pen, your media block is actually, see, this is the image. Your media block is actually still in the container, so this might be, your media block might be still here while your image is broken out of it due to the viewport width. So it's actually the half of the screen. I'm saying that it should be as wide as half of the screen, which you can see now. And there's one thing that we have to do. We have to add a overflow. I need to add an overflow to the section to make sure that my image will be contained, so that there will be no scroll bar that you see. There might be a slight overflow, so I just added overflow hidden, and let me just add a padding to the side here, and yeah, we basically have our layout, right? So let's move on and make this responsive. So on tablet portrait, it's okay, right? Could live with this. And but once we get to the mobile landscape, it might become too short, and this is where we might say, okay, you can do two things, right? You can flip your image on top, or your text can be on top. If we choose to keep the text on top, we just set our, let me just copy this, our grid template columns to 1 instead of 2, so that it will stack, right? And in this case, we need a gap, right? Because it's the content is touching the media block. So we come here, and you see this would be good where I have my grid gap, right? But I'm just going to use space because, like I said, this stuff is not added to the default core, and yeah, most people do not have this setting. So I'm just using the space variable. So we have space. I'm going to add a little bit more. Find it to, oh, my bad, to Excel. Yeah. So now we have some space. Our section, we need to unset this so that we get, wait, why is it not unsetting? Yeah, see, it comes back. So what's the problem? I set this to 0 and then I unset it. So why don't I get, okay, I don't know why that doesn't work, but let me add this. I'll add 3XL is good, and also at the bottom 3XL. And now we need to fix our image because it's still set to 50 viewport width. As you can see, it's only showing half. So we need to fix this here. The two things you can do, you can make sure that on mobile landscape it stretches the whole screen. You can do that too, or you do the following: you just set it to 100%. It's all whatever you may like, right? So this will be the end result, and then on your media you might set this to 40 viewport height. This could be your final design, right? And on mobile, well, it's responsive and it's good. So, but in this case, I wanted to stretch to the edge of the screen. So I come back to my image. Instead of 50 viewport width, we set it to 100 viewport width. But then something interesting happens, right? We set it to 100 viewport width, and then boom, we have a space here. Reason being is it's stretching from the media block to the side of the screen, right? So which means that it doesn't stretch from the edge of the section. It stretches from your container, from the media block all the way out. So we need to push it back and make sure that it sits correctly. So the way to do that is to push it back 50 viewport width. So we do minus 50 viewport width, and then we need to set let me see the position. See here, for our left, we need to set it to 50. Let me see. Wait, I think I need to add an important. This is not, yeah, there we go. So important, and now we need to push it 100% back so that it fits, because now by the way, I made a video explaining how this breakout works precisely, right? So I'll link it in the description. If you watch that, if this is not 100% clear, then I go a little bit more in depth explaining things, right? So 100%, no, sorry, 50%, and now it's good. So 50%, now it sits in the middle, and now it's fully stretched. And here we have it here, and it's all good, right? Now maybe you might say, hey, I don't want my image to be beneath. No worries. You can flip it around by adding a order, setting the order to -1. Oh, -1, and you get the same effect. And you might want to then remove your spacing on a section so that it touches the top of your screen. And yeah, we basically have our layout. So it starts off like this. And what happened here? Did I skip something? Oh, did I make the change? Oh, I made the change too early. My bad. This has to be state 2, and this has to be set to 1. Yeah, my bad. So now it's good. So we basically have our layout here. Oh, and I also need to remove the gap too, and add the gap here. There we go. There we go. Awesome, guys. So this is our. So we have now the split. We have our layout where it's flying out to the right. So now I'm going to make a version where it's the other way around, right? So in this case, I'll add the order here. So I'll say -1, and now I will have to fix this, because why is it not automatically working? There's more work that needs to be done to fix this issue, right? So how do we fix this? So let's go back to our layout. All this stuff here is good, right? 50 viewport width, that's what we want, 50 viewport width. But now we need to all we need to do is push this to the other side. So how do we do that? Calc. We need to push it left, right? So we have a calc. Here we say -50 viewport width, and it has to be plus 100%. And we need to set this to important, because or else to not accept. Let me see there, 50 viewport width. I pushed it too far. Yeah, it's good. Okay, it's good. My bad. 100%. So it's good now. Okay, so it's hitting this side. That means we just need to flip this around. And we have our. I need to flip the spacing around. So it's on the right. I need to set it to the left, right? So I will just copy paste and just put it here. So we have the spacing so that it aligns, and we're good. Let's check it out on the tablet, mobile, it's all the same, right? So we're good. So that's how you basically set the left. Now, again, in the video that I made, I explained how this works, and I explained the difference between the right and the left, right, and how this calc works. Because we're basically pushing it minus 50 viewport width to the left, and then pushing it back 100%. In the video, watch the video. It's really I think I explained it well, unless people say I didn't. Anyways, okay. So now the last example, we're 20 minutes in. I said 30 minutes. So let's say situation. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna put this all back. Let me just flip this back real quick, and then my content. Just put a 4 here. This can go. Okay, so reset. Okay. In this case, we don't have a split hero section, right? We have something like a min max. Let's say a 2 by a 2, right? Yeah, I think that's a good one. Unless I can type today, so or do it differently. For easy maths, I'll do it this way. I'll just say repeat. So we have 12 columns now. Min max. Oops. Okay. So 12 columns. I'll go to our content. We say this should span 4, and this should span 8. So span 8 columns. So this is good. And now it's no more centered in the middle, right? So how do we get the image to fill up the rest of the space? Let's go back to our image, and as you can see here, we have our 50 viewport width set, right? The easiest way to do this is just to say, because we don't know how long the image will be, right? So we just say, just put in 100 viewport width, put in 100 viewport width, it flies off the page, everybody's happy, and it's good, right? Let me see, is my heading? Yeah, my heading is set. Okay. But the problem with this is you're actually missing out a large percentage of your image. So it's best to have the correct measurement from where the image starts and where it ends at the end of the screen. So we need to find out what is the extra space beyond the half, so beyond the center of the screen, right? So the one way to do that is to do the following. We need to do a calculation. So I'll do it here. Remove this. So we say calc, and what we want to do is first find out. I need to know what is the width of my container. My container is 1400 pixels. Okay, remember that, 1400 pixels. So what we basically need to find out is what is the length of one column, right? Because remember, our grid is set to 12 columns. So if I know the length of one column, I can add the extra 2 columns, because since it's 12 divided by 2 is 6. So from the middle, it's spanning 6 columns plus 2 columns, because our media is set to 8 columns, right? So if I know what one column is, I can know what 2 columns is, and I can add it to the 50 viewport width to make up for to make up for the size, to know exactly what size is this, right? Okay, so we say 50 viewport width, right? And we have to add it. We'll add it to the following calculation. That is 2 times, then we say 1400 pixels divided by 12. Let me see, and I think I might have to check if I got this right. 50 viewport width plus 2 1500 pixels divided by okay, So now, as you can see, before when I did it, our image was, it filled the whole screen. We didn't see this whole part here. So this whole, when I set it to 100 viewport width, this whole part was missing, right? We couldn't see this. Now we're actually seeing the whole image because the size is correct, because basically we have the, let me do, where can I see the grid? I want to show you guys the grid. Let's see. This here to this side. So where is it? Where is it? I want to show you guys the grid, right? Okay, so that's grid. Okay, so this is the grid, right? Let me take out my pen again. Like I said before, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so in the middle somewhere, right? That's, I hope this is the half of it. Somehow it doesn't seem like it. So this is 50 viewport width, 50 viewport width, and this one stretches all to the end. But as you can see, your image is going further here. So this is the 2 extra columns. Might not be perfectly done, but this is the 2. So let's say that these 2 extra columns plus the 50 viewport width, that's what we just basically just calculated just now. So I think we've reached the end of the video. Let me see if I will have to change things here. No, I don't change anything. Mobile is good. Oh, this is not good. Let me see, what did I do here? I think it's the span. So this is set to span 8. I think it should span 12. It should also then span 12, and we're good. So it's all good. What do you guys think? It's now 29 minutes. I think I just barely made it. Could have maybe been done earlier if I maybe didn't explain certain things, but we're at the end of the video. I hope you guys liked it. So this is actually for me a very easy way to set up these kinds of layouts without I can do it actually pretty fast if you understand how it works. Like I said, I created a video which I will link down below in the description, where I actually just go into the breakout classes explaining this specific technique. So once you understand that, you can basically use it anywhere you want. Thank you for watching. Please let me know what you guys think. If you have any comments, I'll leave the link also of this in the description. Like, share, comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.